story mother freaking time. So some time ago, I was shadowing this nurse, and it was on a maternal newborn floor. So maternal newborn covers a multitude of things, but on this particular floor, we were in postpartum. And so postpartum is where women go right after giving birth, okay? And a lot of times that consists of care for both mommy and baby and or babies, okay? That day, we can call the nurse that I was shadowing Nurse Amy. We learned that Nurse Amy was an interesting nurse, to say the least. Let me tell you why. Nurse Amy and I, we were going around and we were basically assessing all of the patients, you know, and one of the things that we have to assess is the fundus. So first off, let's just cover the fact that women deal with a great deal of tings, all right? When it comes to being pregnant, giving birth, trying to conceive. A lot of those tings can simply be just hormonal, okay? With that being said, we are going around assessing our patients, and one of the things that we have to assess is the fundus. What is the fundus, you ask? It is the top of the uterus. It is so important for that area, the fundus, to be firm, not soft, not boggy, not baggy, not watery. Firm. Why do we want it firm? Because that indicates that the uterus is going back to its natural form, that there is no hemorrhaging, there isn't an issue with the bladder where she's retaining and she's unable to pee. We want that fundus to be firm, period, okay? So the first room that we go in, this is the first indication that I was maybe not in the best hands as far as shadowing a professional is concerned. Let me tell you why. So, of course, family, they're gonna have questions. Dad, they're gonna have questions. Mom, questions. These are brand new parents, okay? And so when she goes in there, she obviously introduces herself. I introduce myself. She tells them what she's in there to do, what the day is looking like, yada, 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 daga, daga, da. The dad has some questions, and one of them was,
can you help us figure out how we're gonna troubleshoot when baby starts to cry?
I thought that was funny, talking about the baby and saying troubleshoot. Anyways, so basically he was asking
what are some things that we can begin to tick off when baby's annoyed, uncomfortable? That
to me seemed like an easy question. Is baby hungry? Does baby need to be changed? Is baby gassy? Is baby tired? Just go down the line of how to figure out how to make baby comfortable, make this whole process, which is overwhelming for everybody, not even just first-time parents, but especially for first-time parents, a little bit smoother, okay? I was expecting her to say something along those lines, but instead she was like,
what do you mean? Babies cry. Get used to it.
That wasn't funny, because he was serious. I feel like, truth be told, Nurse Amy was having a hard time answering the question. But instead, she tried to redeem herself, and she was like,
I wouldn't worry about it. You guys are gonna get the hang of it. Let's start the assessment.
Meaning she did not answer the question at all. I didn't say nothing, because I'm the student. I'm shadowing. Who do I know? Dad looks a little uncomfortable, but he also laughs it off in an attempt to remove some of the discomfort. Mom's in pain, and she's not looking forward to this fundus assessment because she's in pain. Let me tell y'all about assessing the fundus. Real quick side note. You have to push on the top of that belly area. She just pushed the baby out, and we're coming to push on that area to make sure that the fundus is firm. That's the belly, okay? We get out that room, probably not offering them any sense or semblance of reassurance. Anyways, fast forward to the next patient. We do the same little spiel, introduce ourselves, yaga da 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 da, daga daga da. Okay? So we lift up the gown, obviously to begin the fundus assessment. Now, we don't always know every single thing about each patient, especially if we haven't been caring for them over the past few days. Some nurses, they do their 12-hour shifts back to back to back. And so they come back and they get their same patients and they already know everything that's going on. that's not always the case, okay? Some nurses come back from having been off for 4 or 5 days, and they only know as much as the previous nurse told them. And we don't always remember to say everything. So some things are discovered, especially if it's not that serious. So this mom had what's called a pup's rash, which is really common when you're having a boy. It's hormonal. It happens, it appears on the stretch marks of the belly, and it goes away, okay? Just so we're clear what that is. It's called a pup's rash, but it's really just like an abbreviation for a much longer tongue-tying medical term that I'm just not gonna say. I'm gonna just put it on the screen so you can see it and tongue-tie your own tongue, okay? Now you know what it is. So she lifts up the gown to do her fundal assessment, to do the whole spiel, the whole assessment, right? The mom, who we can call, Mariah. We can call Mom Mariah.
Me and Mariah go back like babies with pacifiers.
Mariah says,
I hate how this rash looks.
and she starts to scratch at it a little bit, and she's like,
Well, how long do you think this is gonna, stick around for? When is it gonna go away?
and it's honestly, this was probably already discussed with with Mariah. But you have this rash that this new person is coming to take a look at. You're starting to feel a little insecure, all right? So you're gonna start to ask questions, and you're trying to subconsciously make it clear, like,
Look, ain't nothing wrong with me. I know that it's a little bit of an eyesore. How long do you think it'll be before it goes away? Somebody needs to offer me reassurance.
again, this is what women do. This is what people in the hospital do.
Tell me it's gonna be okay.
Y'all wanna know what Nurse Amy says to Mariah? She says,
I don't know. It's starting to kind of look like herpes.
Hey, gang, don't hurt me. It's little old me herpes. Cooler than your best friend. I'll stay with you to the end. Yo.
did y'all hear what I said? She said, I don't know. It's kind of starting to look like herpes. Listen. If you don't know what you're talking about, let's just go ahead and make it abundantly clear. Nurse Amy did not know what she was talking about. And I'm very happy that Mariah's response indicated that she also knew that Nurse Amy did not know what she was talking about. And so it was then, ladies and gentlemen, that I began to wonder, is Nurse Amy really a nurse? How, Amy, did you make it this far? I wasn't even a nurse yet, and I knew that that was not herpes. You cannot just go around misdiagnosing people. You can't diagnose anybody as a nurse. These are things that you should know as a nurse. Anyways, Mariah was like, and then she looks at me, like her eyes cut to me real quick and then cut back to Nurse Amy. And she was like,
I don't mean to be disrespectful. I hope it doesn't come across as such. But are you sure you know what you're talking about?
no, she doesn't. I didn't say anything. And so, of course, Nurse Amy gets offended and her head jerks back. And I don't know, like it was in that moment that I felt incredibly inclined to say something. I was like, yeah, no, you know what? Why don't we just get through the assessment of everything that we have to do, and then we'll bring it up to the doctor, and we'll let the doctor come in and take a closer look and give you a more definitive response, and offer deeper explanations. So then Nurse Amy looks at me, and I began pleading with my eyes for Nurse Amy to shut it up. Not another motherfucking word about the rash. Not another motherfucking word. And so Nurse Amy was like,
Yeah, sure. whatever. I mean, yeah, we can reach out to the doctor, sure.
So she does her assessment, she steps out, and had the balls to come and tell me not to interrupt her in the middle of her assessment. I then gathered my balls and was like, nah, bruh, you're wrong. Like, that's not herpes. And even if it was, you don't get to say that. Like, you can't do that. So she gets annoyed. She tells her supervisor, which isn't my supervisor, but obviously her supervisor is going to tell my instructor. Y'all, when I tell you the support that I got was impeccable, okay? Nurse Amy, I'm really glad that she did this because I didn't want to have to. She put her own foot in her mouth. Like, the supervisor was like, you're wrong. You should have never done that. That is not what that is. Yada, yada, yada. It turns into a huge deal. I don't know what ended up happening to Nurse Amy, but the next day I was shadowing a very different nurse. Man, I tell you, I'm just gonna encourage you guys to just do just what that patient did. Speak up. Ask questions. Continue to speak up. Continue to ask questions. Lord have mercy. Also, while you're at it, thinking about asking questions, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and click a couple of those links in that bio section. Take a look at my books. Take a look at my other websites. You know, some music that might be coming out. Thanks for sitting through this story that I'm sure became a little cringeworthy at some points. Thank you for joining. Okay.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?